Today, we are going to be going through how exactly to break free from the fear of being trapped. Because right now, you actually feel panicky, anxious, fear, overwhelmed anytime that you feel trapped in a situation. Situations like petrol stations, classrooms, meetings, maybe even traffic jams. Maybe it might even be when you stop at that red light in traffic and you feel trapped. Any moment that makes you feel like you can't just leave, you can't just go anywhere, and you feel like you're stuck, panic comes on and anxiety comes on, and you start to feel dizzy, you lose balance, your head starts to go, and you fear that panic attack. You're constantly looking for your exit, you're planning a strategy on how you can get out of this situation, what you might need to do, but you're also overthinking of everything that might happen if you are trapped there. You actually find yourself planning and controlling every situation, maybe your days out, maybe your plans with your friends or your plans with your partner, just so that you don't experience any moment of feeling trapped. You need to know everything about a situation just so that you don't find yourself panicking or anxious. And in today's video, I'm going to run you through exactly why that happens with my step-by-step guide, and then exactly how to reprogram your mind so this doesn't happen anymore, so you don't have to fear being trapped. Because realistically, this fear of being trapped, these panic attacks, this anxiety, is holding you back from so much in life. It's holding you back from going for the job promotion. It's holding you back from actually just enjoying life and being present in moments, because all you're thinking about is what might happen if you feel trapped or if you start panicking. You actually feel like this anxiety is taking over more and more of your life, and you avoid going places, avoid doing things because of this fear of being trapped. So let's go into it. First off, we're going to find out the why. We're going to find out the root of this fear of being trapped. And then I'm actually going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to reprogram this. So let's get into it. I'm going to get my trusty notepad up, and I've actually put step-by-step guides here, and we're going to go through it together, okay? So first off, we've got the feeling of being trapped. We've got the panic. We've got the anxiety. And I want to run through the examples. I know I've done this already, but just to give you an understanding of what those situations look like, I'm sure you know very well. We've got things like petrol stations where you actually, when you fill your car up with petrol and then you've got to go and pay, and that feeling of having to pay and that bit in between feels trapped. It might even be when you're at the supermarket and you're paying for something and you know you're there and you want to just get out and you can't. It might be traffic jams because you're fearing that I'm stuck here, I need to get out, and then you start to panic. It might be when you're stuck at traffic lights. Any situation that makes you feel like you are stuck there, and then in comes the panic and anxiety. So, right, the reason why. So the reason why you don't like it and the reason why you start to panic is because you want to be able to just get out of situations if you want to get out of. You want to have full control. You want to know that if you need to leave or whatever, that you can do that, because you're always looking for the emergency exit, right? And you want the ability to be able to do that. But in these situations, you lose that control. You don't have it anymore. You aren't in control, or you believe that you aren't in control in that moment. So you lose control. And throughout your life, at some point in your younger life, you learn that not being in control equals danger. But when you are in control, that equals safety. Okay? So not being in control, unsafe, danger, but being in control is safe. And I want you to just take that in for a second, because how true is that? If you look at these situations, the reason that you panic and the reason that you're anxious is because you lose control. And losing control equals danger, it equals unsafe. You actually, at one point in your life, learn that when you aren't in control and you lose control, this is bad, okay? But actually, when you're in control and you can leave when you want and you can do what you want when you want, and you can plan everything, organize everything, and be super on the ball with it, and you're just completely in control, that equals safety. Now, if we actually changed and reprogrammed that belief system, that fear, so that you can feel safe even when you lose control, we get rid of the fear, we get rid of the panic, and we get rid of that pattern. That's all we need to do, is actually get rid of the fear that losing control equals unsafe. Because it is actually fine. You just believe, and at one point in your life you picked up that belief and that fear, and actually it's not true. There's plenty of times where you don't have full control and you've been absolutely fine and you're okay. So we need to reprogram that belief system, that fear. So let's go through the step-by-step guide on how to actually reprogram this fear and this belief system. Okay, so step number 1, we need to find out where we picked up this belief and this fear. If you've watched my other YouTube video, you'll know what you need to do here, okay? So have a little think back. And I'm going to say it again, but from the years of 1 to 7, when we are 1 to 7 years old, this is when we mostly pick up our belief system. That's when we mostly learn and we start to pick up and create these neural pathways that create our fears, which create our belief systems, right? And then also in our young adolescence years and our teens years and things like that. So I want you to think back to that time. When might have you picked up a belief that losing control equals unsafe? I want you to think back of a moment, a memory, a situation where that belief or fear was picked up, okay? Because in that moment, you realized or you picked up the belief that losing control equals unsafe. Where might there have been a situation where you weren't in control and it felt unsafe? And what I want you to do is go back to this moment, go back to this memory and look at it from the adult perspective now. And then I want you to actually think about what the new story, the new belief could be. Could that be that actually being in control can be safe, but also losing control can be safe? I want you to start listing down all of the times in your life where you didn't have full control and it actually worked out to be okay and it can be safe. This is the proof and the evidence that actually losing control is okay. That when you don't have full control, it's okay. We need to now reprogram this belief system and this fear. And then moving forward, how can you build safety in not having full control? Because remember, these are the pathways that your brain has built. Your brain now believes or has believed in the past that losing control equals unsafe. So what can you do when you aren't in control? What can you do in those moments where you feel like you're losing control or you aren't in control? How can you build safety in them? Build that safety internally. So what does safety look like for you? Does that look like reassurance? Does that look like supporting yourself? Does that look like reminding yourself that it's okay if you aren't in full control? Is it reminding yourself of all of the past experience that we just listed down that actually meant that it was all okay? What do you need in that moment where you're not in full control to feel safe? And then we build the proof and the evidence in future events that we can feel safe when we're not in full control. So let's just go over that. Number 1, find out where this belief and this pattern of losing control equals unsafe first came on. And then what I want you to do is actually go in and start to look at that and how it can actually be different. What's the new story now? What's the new belief that we want to do moving forward? And then list all of the things that actually in the past that have happened where you don't have full control and it was okay. Nothing bad happened and it was fine. List them down. And then how can you build safety for yourself? So in the moments where you feel like you're losing control, what do you need to feel safe in those moments? Because I want you to actually build safety internally. And then let's start building the proof and the evidence that it is safe when you don't have full control, that it's safe, nothing bad happens, it's okay. Let's start actually changing this belief system, because when we change it, there's no more panic, there's no more anxiety, and there's no more controlling life to every T. You can actually just be in the present moment. You can actually start to make memories without feeling like you're always scared of being anxious and panicky. You can actually start to be happy, to go with the flow and just enjoy moments and enjoy time with your friends and family. So what I want to also add is what I do one-to-one with clients is actually we go in a little bit deeper than this. I've given you some great stuff to go and work on to actually reprogram this old belief system. But what I do one-to-one is we go in and we subconsciously reprogram. This is all from your subconscious mind. Your mind believes, oh my God, when I lose control, this is unsafe. Your subconscious mind believes that, okay? And actually with my one-to-one work, we go in subconsciously and we reprogram. We go deeper. So if you are ready to actually get rid of this belief for good now, then I would highly recommend my one-to-one coaching. If you want to find out more information, you can inbox me, message me on my Instagram, which is Ashley Anxiety Coach. That's where you're going to get the fastest response. Or you can click on the link in the description of this video. I've put my form in there. You can fill in the form and I will get back to you as soon as possible. This feeling or fear of being trapped is because you are scared of losing control. Once we get rid of that fear of losing control, you won't have the panic and anxiety. It is that simple. So if you have liked this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below. And if you want to find out more about one-to-one, pop me a message on Instagram. I've loved talking about this video. I will see you in the next.